Finally.
Thanks to the EU, we have one more screen during the iPhone onboarding. Clown.
Oh no.
Not everyone knows what a
One more.
browser is. Far from it. Why not ask for a default music player, default mail app, default camera app while we're at it? Unironically, that's a really good idea.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know if I care about that personally.
I think for music player, I don't know if I care about camera app.
Like this, as far as I can tell,
Yeah.
this is them effectively exposing like the App Store as part of the opening your phone. Like
No, this is part of the you can't have Safari just be the only thing on iOS.
yeah, but they're saying it's the onboarding. Personally, I don't necessarily think that this needs to be part of the onboarding. It just needs to be something that you can do.
Oh, sure. Sure, that's fair enough. I mean, honestly, I don't mind it at onboarding.
I don't know if I want every single thing that my phone can do. I don't necessarily want to make a choice where it now downloads that app or whatever instantly when I'm trying to set up a new device. That's not
Compromise. One screen where it has all the default apps. You can click into them and change them, or you can scroll all the way down and go continue.
I'm on board.
Compromise?
Give me that skip button.
All right, let's go.
And then I don't care. Yeah, because like, what if I am an Apple user that's just like, yeah, I just want all the Apple stuff, which there's going to be tons of them.
And that's the whole thing, that a lot of the people who argue for Apple's walled garden and Apple's anti-competitive and anti-consumer practices will say, they'll say, well, I don't want to pick, I just want them to tell me what's good. You still can. And you can still just use whatever Apple tells you to use. It's okay. It's fine.
I find it interesting that Chrome is at like the bottom of the list.
Well, I mean, no one said Apple couldn't maliciously comply.
I will say, I've been using, I don't know if I've talked about this on the show ever, I've been using the Firefox mobile browser for like a decade. Never had a single problem. It's fantastic. I have my URL bar, search bar stuff is at the bottom. I prefer that a ton. It's a user setting. It's stuck for like years. It's great. I love Firefox.
Go.
That's all I have to say. That's it. Someone was surprised. They're like, wait, what is that? They saw my phone. They're like, what is that? I was like, it's my browser. I'm like, what do you mean? It doesn't look like Chrome? I was like, it's not Chrome, it's Firefox. I'm like, use Firefox? Oh, like, yeah, it's great. I don't know.
What did Hillary
No,
say?
not.
Everyone who uses Firefox lies. You told them that.
No. All the people, not all the people.
The context for that was we did a poll on Floatplane during the LAN show asking what percentage of people use Firefox.
And I just knew
And
it
then
was
Luke
not right.
went into our logs for the actual access.
Well, not me, AJ.
Sorry, AJ went into our logs for the percentage of Floatplane users that use Firefox, and those numbers were not similar.
Not even sort of close. And like some people are like, oh yeah, you can spoof what browser it is, and some people do this for compatibility because a site will say that it doesn't work with Firefox, but if you just tell it that you're actually using Chrome instead, it will actually work just fine. There's pretty much no way the amount of people that do that make up the gap. I can't say for sure, but pretty much no.
This is totally off topic, but
Can you make that poll, Dad?
is Luke a liar?
The options are yes and yes, but I use Firefox.
They like their polls.
This is amazing.
I get weird with them when we do the Super Checks after party, the Floatplane exclusive stream.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we every single time we
Raw.
like, who's gonna win the round, and they just get strange.
I should look into that. We have a view where we can see every poll ever made and who made it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
Raw.
This is just totally off topic, but I was looking at the chats, and I'm obviously mostly looking at Floatplane chat, but Twitch chat is upset because there's another ad break. This is really weird. So, someone here turned on ads on Twitch, and like really intrusively, and I turned them off. And then someone here, I think Colton, Colton turned them back on and said, don't touch that setting anymore, we're having ads on Twitch. And I think they run every 20 minutes. For some reason, even though the WAN show gets interrupted every 20 minutes, on Twitch for an ad break, and there are no ad breaks on any other platform where it broadcasts. Obviously, I'm not going to expect everyone to move over to Floatplane where there's a monthly subscription.
Does YouTube not ad break during live stream?
We do not have them enabled on YouTube. And they're not on Facebook, for sure. We also stream on Facebook. What is it about the experience of watching on Twitch that makes it so that hold on, nobody has abandoned it in spite of the ad breaks that are not on other platforms? Like, our viewership is basically the same as it always is.
I have a theory. As much as I hate it, despise it even, the people want a smaller internet. They want to just stay on the sites that they use. And if there's Twitch frogs instead of YouTube users, they're just going to stay there. They will not have alternatives.
Agree.
It sucks. We had this really cool internet where there was all these unique, cool websites where people would do neat things, and now there's like
Justin.tv.
people use like 5 websites. And yeah, there's more than 5 websites that are possible. I mean, individuals. Like, it's very common that individual people will not navigate to more than a very, very small handful of websites. They'll be like, yeah, I'm a Reddit and Facebook and Twitter user, and I Google things sometimes, and that's it. Yeah.
Yep, I think. Want to do a merch message? I need to run to the washroom. My drink is open.
Sure.
Let's see if I have any for Luke.
By the way, the results of the poll are 71% is Luke a liar? Yes, but I use Firefox. Which is, I think I actually enjoy that. Good job. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun. They're
I
fun.
like that. Yeah.
I think I had one in here for Luke. Let me see if I can find it.
No.
Okay.
It's the secret part of the show where I get to talk about Slay the Spire 2.
Oh, did they? Well, there was actually one in here about kind of Godot and stuff like that. Did they pivot?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in Godot.
Hell yeah.
Slay the Spire 2's in Godot. So they did dancing whatever. I already forgot the name of it.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last week.
Dancing Duelists, yeah. So they did Dancing Duelists in Godot, and then they followed through with what they were talking about. By the way, Dancing Duelists is free. You can go get it. It's great. But yeah, they followed through with it. So it's like just coming in Godot. I looked at some of the screenshots for Slay the Spire 2, and it like looks very similar. And yeah, sounds good. I'm probably gonna spend my whole rest of my life.
I picked up one a while ago called Core Keeper, which was also done in Godot. Excellent engine.
I found I'm gonna give shameless promotion to someone else. If you YouTube Godot for tutorial 11 hours, it's probably gonna work. I bet you it works. Yeah, there's a video from Clearcode. The channel is named Clearcode. It has 1.1 million views right now. It was uploaded 9 months ago, just so you can make sure you're finding the right one. It's a 11.5-hour long tutorial that is called The Ultimate Introduction to Godot 4. And if you look into the description, there's a part 2.
Oh, I think I've been into this
video, and there's a part 2 for it. And this tutorial is amazing. I was like having a really hard time trying to decide between GameMaker and Godot because I wanted to do 2D game development. And this tutorial, being as amazing as it is what convinced me to work in Godot, because I actually think right now that I like the tutorial more than I like the engine. Which I don't dislike the engine at all, to be very clear, but the tutorial is just fantastic. The person, whoever does Clearcode, very, very, very good explanations, really, really interesting order of how they do everything, and then they do a very good job of explaining concepts at a relatively base level, and then setting you up for like, okay, now here's your challenge. These are the 3 things that I want you to do, and those things are slightly more advanced than what they taught you, but you know enough to figure it out yourself, so you have to work through the engine and see how it works and kind of navigate things and do it on your own, and then you continue the video and he teaches you more things, and then you keep going. It's very, very well done, and it doesn't start losing quality. I'm like 4 hours in or something, and it's still amazing. So if you're interested in game development or Godot, I would highly recommend checking out Clearcode, and especially the Ultimate Introduction to Clearcode video, because or Ultimate Introduction to Godot 4 video, because it's fantastic. It is super long, but like I was trying to look at some of the shorter, more digestible ones, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't enough of an introduction. I haven't touched game engine seriously in a super long time. I really need a deep dive. Right. And this thing has been amazing so far. So yeah, check it out. Next.
Hey, Yellow, I'm curious on your opinions, if
very
any,
nice.
on Megacrit switching from Unity to Godot. Do you think more game companies should switch to open source engines? Also, any updates on LTT stocks? Still working at it.
Open source engines are cool. Open source is not like, it's not in my, because I'm going to piss people off. It doesn't automatically become the best thing because it is open source. I really like Godot. It seems great so far. I do not believe that everyone making a 3D game in Unreal should switch to Godot. I don't think everyone making a 2D game in Game Makers should switch to Godot. There might be some decent arguments for people making anything in Unity switching to anything else. But those are based on like business practices and stuff like that. But there are really good things about open source, and one of the things that can be scary about open source is the abandonment of projects and things like that. Something that can maybe increase confidence is when you start seeing bigger companies, bigger groups getting behind and using different open source projects. Megacrit moving to Godot and releasing eventually in 2025 Spacefire 2 in Godot could be very big for Godot adoption and be very important. But I don't know enough. I'm not here to recommend anything in that realm. I am a novice. I'm just having fun going through that tutorial, so I don't know.
Alexander asks, Linus, will you be going on to the yard at the end of this month? Ludwig said you'll be coming on. Yes.
Nice.
I'm going to be on the yard. It's going to be awesome. Going down there for a collab. We're going to do the bro versus bro thing. I'm probably going to lose, so that's cool.
I suspect you might get more canceled from being on there.
Really?
Well, I'm just hearing this now, so I'm assuming I won't be there. And those guys are going to have a very fun time seeing how far you'll go.
Oh.
You've never heard the podcast, have you?
No.
No. It's going to be sick.
I mean, I went on KB Mod
It's great.
back in the day.
Zero fuck. Then
I
why?
didn't get in any trouble for that.
Don't know if you should have brought that up or not.
Fair enough.
I'm sure it'll be great. I am mildly concerned. That's all I'll say.
Oh, wait. KB Mod, no, PKA. That's the one.
Oh.
Painkiller already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was... Well, wait, hold on. What was... I thought KB Mod and PKA had something to do with each other. Hold on. No, maybe they have nothing to do with each other. Okay, no, I completely forgot. Well, cool. Apparently I don't even know what podcast I've been on, so this is good. We're off to a really good start here.
Very commonly does podcasting.
No, I don't even know.
That was the whole point.
He does one every Friday. What's wrong with you?
Oh my goodness.
Wait, I did do KB Mod.
Get it.
I'm pretty sure that's me.
I don't know.
Hey, look, it's Sad Linus.
Oh boy.
Hold on. Okay. Yes, I did both. So yeah,
Nice.
that's good.
I don't
Sure.
get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I
Sponsored by
don't get it.
Squarespace.
Nice.
Good stuff. I mean, if Squarespace sponsors, it can't be that bad. What do you mean, Memory of a Goldfish? It was 9 years ago.
I don't remember almost anything from back then.
I'm supposed to remember every... I kind of remembered every podcast I was on 9 years ago.
You technically remembered both of them.
KB Mod was 10 years ago.
You just thought it might have been one or the other.
I don't even remember who was on it.
Bam, bam.
I
like
okay. Wow. Yeah. That's
Why?
wild.
the Perry
Does
goes
this still
away.
exist? Is this still a thing? Oh yeah, no, the last thing we did was 5 years ago. Okay. I'm okay.
Wait, who? KB Mod?
KB Mod, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's been a thing for a bit.
Okay. PKA seems to still exist though. Oh yeah, 100%. They're talking about OJ Simpson. Huh. All right. Well, yeah, he like died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neat.
Karma's a bitch. Probably took a little long.
Let's do the next merch message.
Okay.
No, I want to lose my job.
Multiple minutes of this.
Let's see.
Maybe they won't be the problem.
Oh,
Maybe it'll just be you.
Linus is going to get them canceled.
Yeah, my whole thought process here is like
Kind of my jam.
the Yard Boys are gonna get Linus to go too far on something, and now it's like, you know,
Luke can handle it.
maybe it'll be Linus getting the Yard guys to go too far. You and Slime is gonna be a genuinely intriguing combination. I'm excited. I'll definitely listen to that episode. Next one.
All right, let's see. How about a quick one? Hi, Luke, Linus, and Dan. Tall sizes soon. Please, I beg you, I want to give you my money.
Yes.
Hi, Linus and Luke. I work with a nonprofit, and I'm looking to start a camp for kids on building computers. How would you go about sourcing hardware without the option of electronics recycler?
You don't. It's not going to happen, basically. There's no one who's going to pony up that hardware. Like, why? And if you're like, oh, well, I could just take older stuff, they're going to say, well, where would I get that? At the kind of volumes that you would need, because the answer is going to be a hardware recycler. So either you go to a hardware recycler or they go to a hardware recycler. It's just not gonna work. The cost of this stuff, like I think that a lot of people have this perception that if something costs $100, well, if the retail price is $100, now probably the manufacturing cost is what, like $20. Like I see that a lot. Whether it's our screwdriver or whether it's our own merch, where I really do know the costs, I know what they are, or whether it's computer hardware product, where I understand enough to understand the costs. I see people have this perception that like I'm spending $500 on a TV at Best Buy. I'm getting ripped, man. $500 for a TV, like, right? But people who made it need to be paid. And so that's how that works, right? Like the Best Buy does not have a ton of margin on a $500 TV. I can tell you that with 100% confidence. And so even at the manufacturing level, the IT industry is notoriously cutthroat for margins. So they might have 15, 20 points on a motherboard. So that $100 motherboard is $80. How many kids are you planning to have at this camp? It's not much of a camp unless it's like 50 or something, right? Like what's a camp exactly to you? So they're gonna give you what, motherboards times 50, even if it's 20. Like this is actually a ton of money you're asking for if you want computers for them to build. So this is the kind of thing that over time you're going to have to acquire non-working hardware, because if the goal is just for them to build it,
Kind of more fun anyway.
it doesn't have to function.
Well, not even that. So I've told this story before, but in high school, my computers teacher found a way to acquire. I'll speed through it partially. Found a way to acquire a whole bunch of non-working PCs, and then we built a computer lab for the school out of these non-working PCs by sifting through them and finding what parts worked, figured out what motherboards were working, CPUs were working, RAM was working, etc., and building custom computers for this whole computer lab. And it was great. It was a really good experience. You might be able to do that as well if there's like a recycler in the area that will allow you to take some stuff for this experience, which might be a thing. I don't know.
And guys, like, there's no award for being wrong on the internet. I think Twitch chat has lost their chat privileges for today. It's a terrible take. Mine is saying this while these companies are making record profits. Guys, Best Buy's not making record profits. It's not the pandemic anymore. People aren't buying computers. Yeah, your grocery store probably is, but that doesn't mean that that's true of every single company. It's not how these things work. Industries bust and they boom. And no, like there isn't a ton of money in being an electronics retailer. If there was, everyone would do it. It wouldn't be consolidated down to just a handful of remaining options. Little Twitch, anyway. Sure, yeah, let's do one more.
Hey, definitely not late.dlo. I heard a long time ago that having a hard drive at close to or at capacity negatively affects performance of the drive. Is that still a thing with newer drives like M.2?
Yeah. Yes. Although for different reasons. On hard drives, the issue was the fragmentation of the files that would occur as they filled up over time. So as you installed a game, and then put some media files, and then install the next game, and then put some dependencies that are needed for a game, and essentially filled up the concentric circles that make the platter, you would end up with, in many cases, applications or even individual files that had pieces of them kind of spread out all over the platter. You have
efficiently organized.
When you have a physical needle that is moving back and forth, seeking to access that data, there's a delay as it goes around searching all over the disk for the pieces that it needs. So what you would do is you would kind of reorganize all the data that goes together to make it so that you're doing less seeking. With SSDs, everything is just handled on an address basis. There is no physical seeking time. It does still take time, but it's not from moving a physical object. Where you run into trouble with SSDs is in a similar way. You can have junk on the disk that isn't what you need. I shouldn't say disk because it's not a disk. You can have junk on the drive that isn't what you need in a space that, okay, I shouldn't say similar, it's not that similar. So you can have junk on the drive that you don't need but hasn't been fully removed because that's not as efficient. It's not as good for the drive's longevity because NAND flash has a finite number of write cycles that it can survive before it just gives up the ghost. So what happens is when you fill a drive, you and then delete a file, it's just sort of shadow deleted. It's not really deleted until such time as you actually need to overwrite it, until you actually need to fill up that space. So what happens then is instead of just a write operation, it needs to do a full program erase cycle. It needs to actually wipe it, then write it. And in some cases, having a really full drive can mean that there are bits of data in some places and bits of data in other places that aren't consolidated, which is kind of similar-ish to what we would see with hard drives. And when the drive's very full, the odds that you're going to hit a block that needs to be erased and then rewritten somewhere else and then written to in order for it to stay organized is much, much higher. This is like a super, super crappy explanation of it, but this is off the top of my head and I haven't looked at garbage collection, trim, and NAND data organization in a while.
This is a situation you should formulate with TechWiki. Fairly certain you have TechWiki to solve this.
Basically, yes, being more full means there's less room for this data organization to take place, and it can be more delayed.
You also have just annoyances with like temp file overflows and stuff like that.
And it's bad for the longevity of the drive as well, because the more shuffling it has to do for every write operation, the more unnecessary writing that you're doing. Yeah. Oh, are we doing topics now? Let's do it.
LTT Labs, Nicholas, if that is your, if you're who I think you are, you should.
Why he's taking no damage?
Oh, yes, Labs.
Nine.
I mean,
What's damage? We don't do. Great.
Oh, that's great.
Internalized screen.
Texas schools embrace AI grading. The Texas Education Agency will be replacing human graders, not fully replacing, but certainly significantly augmenting. I shouldn't say augmenting.
Well, they're replacing some.
The human graders are, yeah, some of them are gone.
Yeah.
So we'll be replacing some of their human graders with an auto-scoring engine And this is not for multiple choice. This is for written questions on standardized tests, with the only exception being tests written in Spanish. If the AI indicates it has low confidence in its score, the test will be referred to a human grader for review, with the human grader's score overruling the AI's if there's a disagreement between the two scores. Texas estimates that 75% of tests will be graded without being sent for further review. They estimate this will save $15 to $20 million a year annually by hiring only a third as many temporary graders every year. The state has insisted that while the auto-scoring engine is based on similar technology to GPT-4, it will have systematic oversight from humans.